I'm Mace.
And I'm Lauren.
And welcome to Lights, Camera, Reaction. Today, what are we talking about today?
Talking about the Lighthouse.
It's a film filmed in 2019. There's only 3 actors in the whole movie, which is really interesting. The guy who played Edward Collins, Robert, Willem Dafoe, and another girl named I can't pronounce her name.
She doesn't have any lines. She's irrelevant anyway. I mean, she's literally, throughout most of the movie, it's not even her. It's just a weird statue thing that he ends up breaking. Like, you see her once, and that just makes him, hard, I guess.
We see her a couple times. She's a siren, or a mermaid. And basically, there's a lot of sexual things.
Tension.
So there's a lot of sexual tension.
Oh, okay, I feel like the mermaid purely exists to break up the sexual tension between the two dudes.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, they're not gay, they're just really lonely. There's a mermaid, so it's fine. Look at it. The mermaid, they like the mermaid, okay? They're not gay, I promise.
Except for, that one scene where
they're kind of almost gay.
They almost kiss.
Almost.
And so, basically, I have an entire,
novel.
A whole novel of notes. So it was loosely based off a true story and a poem by Edgar Allan Poe, and I believe it was of the same title, which is interesting. So we start off with, we see the characters, on a boat. It's very, hazy and gray, and it has very sinister tones to it, so you can tell from right off the bat it's not going to be a fun ride at all.
Yeah. I mean, it's all in black and white. So really they can only convey so much in color. It's just some things are lighter and some are darker. I think the big, distinguishing thing is the foghorn. Mm-hmm. The noises throughout the movie are what really breaks it up, because some of it's super loud and in your face, and some of it's in the background, but it really haunts you throughout the entire movie. Right,
and throughout the entire movie, you don't really know, at some point, you just can't tell what's real and what's not. Mm-hmm. And for, half of the movie, you're in third person. You're in a third-person perspective. But then, towards, the middle and throughout the rest of the movie, you see, you are basically looking through, Winslow's, I'm gonna call him Winslow, even though that's not really his name. His real name's Thomas. We see everything through Winslow's eyes. He's basically our, unreliable narrator. And there's a lot of correlation between Prometheus, which is really cool as somebody who greatly enjoys Greek mythology.
Oh, I was like, did I not watch the movie? What's happening? Who is that? I thought there were only 3 actors.
There are. But Prometheus is the story of a man who brought fire to the humans, even though Zeus was don't do that.
They don't deserve it.
They don't deserve fire. And as punishment, Prometheus is chained to a rock and has a bird eat his intestines every day, and then it regrows, and he has to live through that every single day.
Which is how the movie ended, which I was trying to tell my mom about this movie. I was trying to tell anybody about this movie, and nobody understood. You really have to watch it if you want to know what's going on. I watched and I still don't know what's going on. It's a mess. It's cool, but it's a mess.
Yeah, what's really interesting is how Tom, the first Thomas, how Tom is very much kind of possessed by the lighthouse, and he's also he like takes the form of a child of Poseidon. There's lots of nods to Greek mythology, which is really nice. Which is why we see him wrapping tentacles around Winslow's throat towards the end, and also during one of the masturbation scenes, when he's up in the lighthouse and Winslow is looking up, we see a tentacle, and that's when we see like something's not right. Mm-hmm. At least with Winslow. And we also see how a lot of superstition is, as with a lot of sailors have a tendency to believe in a lot of superstition for valid reasons. And Thomas tells Winslow, hey, don't tussle with the gull. That's the soul of a sailor who met his maker on the sea, and it's bad luck if you kill a gull. And then right before Winslow kills a seagull that's been antagonizing him for up until he kills it, we see the bird. We see a vision of the bird right in front of him, dead inside this cellar thing. I'm not sure what it is, personally.
Well, he came and he saw the water was black. So I assume that's where they kept the water, and he opened it, and the seagull was there, which would explain why the water was black.
And why it tasted bad as well.
I think that he killed the seagull out of spite. I think that he was so mad at Thomas, and he was just being pushed around for so long that he's like, don't kill the birds, fucking watch me. Like, I mean, it's just...
And he's sick of being antagonized.
Yeah, he was being treated like garbage for so long that, I feel like it was about time for him to do something to retaliate.
Yeah. And as somebody who very much likes murder stories and horror, throughout the entire movie, the way that Winslow was being treated, I just kind of wanted him to kill Thomas. I was in my head, I was like, when is he going to do it? When is he going to do it? When is he going to do it? And I wasn't expecting him to kill him the way that he did, but it was nice to see that he finally unleashed his feelings. And also another thing, throughout the entire movie, Winslow's getting called a dog, which is like slang. And then towards the end, Winslow's like, no, you're the dog, and he makes him basically walk around like a dog and bark.
Yeah, I completely forgot he was calling him a dog throughout the movie. I don't know. At the beginning, I really had no idea what was going to happen. I've seen a lot of horror films, but this was by far the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
It was mindfuck.
Yeah.
Throughout the whole movie, we were like, what the fuck?
I mean, it literally, it was so whack. I'm telling you, I didn't think Wake was a bad guy. I thought he was, had a stick of his ass, but I didn't think he was a bad guy until we find out that he purposely made Thomas miss his ship back home.
And he, killed his last...
Yeah, when you find out that he killed... And then he's trying to tell, Winslow that, oh, you're just imagining it. None of that happened.
Yeah, he's trying to manipulate... Real. He's very manipulative with the way he acts. And... he tries, and he's very bipolar. They have a very bipolar relationship throughout the entire movie, where they are, one moment they're getting along great, and they're laughing, and they're dancing on each other, and singing, and then the next, Winslow says something that upsets Thomas, and he, will snap.
It's the fan. They start fighting, they start screaming. There's lots of drinking, which doesn't help. People are just... drunk out of their mind. We find out that Thomas was doing it on purpose. He purposely got him drunk so these things would happen, so he'd tell him these stories, like how he might have killed this guy, it might have been his fault.
Which is one of the reasons why Winslow's here in the first place. Winslow's not his real name, it's Thomas, and he took on the identity of Winslow Winfrey, right? Is that his name?
Ephraim Winslow.
Ephraim Winslow, that's it. and he's like, we finally learn he's basically on the run because we don't know if he killed him or if he just let it kind of happen.
I think he has guilt, lots of guilt. He says that there was too much trees for him because, Thomas asks, well, why are you here? Why did you decide to come here to this desolate rock? He says, well, I'm tired of trees. I'm tired. I think he was trying to get away from that area. I think he was so guilty that he wanted to go somewhere else, but he's learning throughout the movie that he can't seem to escape this guilt. That's why he ends up telling Thomas.
Yeah. And I think that they're both, if you look at it from like an outside perspective, they're really both bad people.
Mm-hmm. Very complex.
There's not just, but throughout the movie we're seeing that Thomas is the person we're supposed to think is the bad guy. And so when he dies, which was kind of a relief for me because he was just such a bad person and so manipulative, and I've had to deal with like bad and manipulative people. So when he was gone, I was like,
it was relatable
finally.
To the audience. It was like this captor. He was finally released. Of course, in the end, the way he treated Thomas, like the whole like treating him like a dog, trying to bury him, giving up.
Yeah, burying him alive.
Yeah, he tried to bury him alive. It was.
And after he does that for a minute, he like
comes back and tries to see if he's alive. Yeah.
But I think that's because he wanted to get the key to the lighthouse. Also, about the light in the lighthouse, it's very ethereal, and when we see the light, you know that it's something unearthly. It's very like godlike, and and Thomas seems to worship this as a god, and kind of has maybe a sexual relationship with it.
It's weird.
It's really weird.
It's really weird.
So overall, it's a complete mindfuck, and it's amazing in my opinion.
Would you recommend it?
If you're up for it and you're okay, if you're not queasy and you're okay with dark.
Don't watch it with your kids.
Don't watch it with your kids. Don't watch it with your grandma.
Watch it alone in a dark room
or with your
no
significant other.
Even that would be kind of weird.
Yeah. It is rated R.
For good reason.
For good reason. But it is art, and I think it should be appreciated as art. So, I personally recommend it if you are of age to watch something that is rated R and are mature.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
We'll miss you. Oh.